Hi everybody, I'm Bob Costas. 2 weeks ago at Churchill Downs, a 12-to-1 shot called Funny Cide pulled away from the favorite Empire Maker to win the Kentucky Derby. First New York-bred horse ever to win the Derby, first gelding to do it in 74 years. But no sooner had the cheering subsided than the controversy began. Funny Cide's jockey Rita Santos investigated after questions arose about the possible use of a battery-operated device to spur his horse on. End result, story discredited, Santos fully exonerated, Funny Cide's victory upheld. And so now it's on to the Preakness, where one of horse racing's more unlikely stories continues.
That day was just indescribable. It's $1 in a dream. It's like hitting the lottery. You just can't imagine how something like this could happen to everyday people.
Us hicks from the sticks.
And they're off in the Kentucky Derby.
We just turned to each other and said, is this for real? Would someone please pinch me?
Funny Cide from the inside is racing fourth. Scrimshaw 5 wide into the first.
We had box seats to Kentucky Derby. We had tickets for a lovely buffet luncheon.
We're walking through with our Kmart jackets on, and then, you know, I think we've hit it.
Funny Cide to the neck, the piece rolls. Empire Maker charging hard.
Oh boy.
What did I ever do to get myself into this position?
Funny Cide has a narrow lead.
Never, ever, ever in the world could any of us imagine something like this happening.
Funny Cide trying to pull out the upset here.
I'm sure people know who we are now.
And the gutsy gelding Funny Cide has won the 129th Kentucky Derby.
On the shores of Lake Ontario is a small vacation village named Sackett's Harbor. Till 2 weeks ago, the biggest thing that happened here was the War of 1812. But in just 2 minutes on a racetrack, one horse changed everything. Today at Pimlico, 6 small-town guys from upstate New York will see if their 15 minutes of fame can last a lifetime, as they take their shot at racing history with another New York-bred, Funny Cide.
Yes, racing produces the most unlikely stories, and a frisky Funny Cide, chasing his trainer away a short time ago, hopes to continue the magic at Pimlico. It's Preakness Day, Maryland's biggest sporting event of the year. The hat's a little different than on Derby Day, but racegoers have braved the elements to pack the stands and crowd the infield for the second jewel of the Visa Triple Crown. Rita Santos, controversy behind him, and many other top jockeys have come to America's second oldest track to ride in the Preakness. Plenty of Chesapeake Bay delicacies are available, although in the infield the fare may be more basic, and there are plenty of local entrepreneurs ready to lend a hand or a cart with your cooler for a price. To honor the winner, the Woodlawn Vase, the most valuable trophy in American sports, at the 128th running of the Preakness Stakes. The Preakness at 1 mile and 3/16 with a purse of $1 million. That's a 16th of a mile shorter than the Derby 2 weeks ago. It is a raw day, the coldest Preakness day ever. The temperature 52 degrees, overcast skies. The track began the day sloppy. It's been upgraded to good as we approach post time for the Preakness. Hello everyone and welcome to Pimlico. I'm Tom Hammond, trying to stay warm, and today we'll find out if Funny Cide is for real. The first New York-bred gelding, first New York-bred ever, first gelding since 1929 to win the Derby, takes the track here in Maryland to face 9 others. And you wouldn't think a 12-to-1 shot would scare off many of the rivals, but oddly enough, only 3 other Derby horses will challenge Funny Cide today. The others passed on the Preakness. 10 horses, 9 betting interests. Scrimshaw and Senior Swinger, both owned by Bob and Beverly Lewis, so under Maryland rules are coupled in the betting, giving you an unlikely entry which combines the 2 most dominant Triple Crown trainers in recent years, Wayne Lukas and Bob Baffert. They're at 7-2. 2. Cherokee's Boy at 7-1. You see 10 cents a shine getting some play at 6-1. Midway Road 20-piece rules 3-1. New York Hero 15-1, and Funny Side is also 3-1 co-favorite with piece rules at the moment. Well, of course, the weather has been a big concern today, and right now Tom Durkin just took a moment to go down to the track and see how bad it was.
Well, it was a regular Maryland monsoon here yesterday, dumping 2 inches of rain on Pimlico. But the track condition today isn't so bad, because Thursday night, right after the races, the track superintendent, John Pissarro, took 2 of his 40,000-pound water trucks, filled them up with another 10,000 pounds of water, and rolled them around the racetrack half the night. Well, when we began the races today at 10:30 this morning, the first race, the track was sloppy. Then it finally stopped raining. They put some harrows across the track, upgraded it to muddy for 3 races, and now the track condition is good. So as far as this Preakness goes, there's a lot of moisture in the track, but it won't be mud in your eye.
All right, Tom. Well, there was some mud slinging, of course, as this past week the news has been dominated by suggestions of wrongdoing leveled against Funny Side's jockey Jose Santos in the Derby, a controversy that never should have occurred. It all began with this photo taken by Getty Images and published in the Miami Herald. It seems to show something in the right hand of Santos along with a whip. Suggestion was it might be an illegal electrical device, and the paper quoted Santos with a confusing answer about what might be in his hand. But why did the Herald rely on only that one frame instead of checking out other photos taken at the same time, like this AP picture, which shows Jerry Bailey silks through the open hand of Santos? The TV replay shows Santos vigorously switching the whip from left to right hands, and after he comes across the finish line, twirling it in triumph. Only Houdini could have done that with something else in his hand. And in Miami, they couldn't find someone to interview Santos in his native Spanish language. A Kentucky steward's comment that the picture looked suspicious lent credibility, and a media feeding frenzy took off. It was front page and lead item news in many outlets, including NBC News. The Kentucky stewards finally investigated thoroughly. They determined Santos was holding nothing but the whip, but many felt that damage had already been done. Let's see what our handicappers thought about the incident. Let's go to Mike Battaglia, Bob Newmeyer.
Well, Tom Hammond, we have a couple of ideas on what actually led to this national media firestorm, Mike.
Well, you know, Tom, you said it best. This never should have happened. You know, I don't criticize the Herald for publishing the picture, but there were plenty of other pictures taken at virtually the same time that clearly showed Jose Santos had nothing in his hand. They chose not to publish those. I talked to Tom Fiedler, the executive editor of the Miami Herald. He said that the reporter who interviewed Santos thought that he understood his question, but in hindsight, he probably should have shown Jose the picture and interviewed him in Spanish, his native language. Fiedler did say that the steward's comments played a big part in his decision to publish, but he concluded by saying that he'd like to take a mulligan on this one, and this is one that probably he would like to take back.
And you mentioned the steward at Churchill Downs, Rick Lee, and although he was said that he was taken out of context, he also used those words, very suspicious. And that, I think, Mike, lent strength of legs to the story. And then Bobby Frankel followed up in this chain reaction as saying, you know, Empire Maker, I was originally going to run him in the Belmont, but now I'm going to run him in the Preakness, because if they disqualify Santos and Funny Side, I have a chance at the Triple Crown. Frankel saw the pictures, Frankel saw the video, we all did, we realized nothing was there.
All comes down to that one picture. Tom, it never should have happened.
Well, I agree with you guys. And what about Jose Santos and his reputation among the other jockeys? Let's go to our former rider, Donna Barton Brothers.
Well, Tom, I knew all along. I've known Jose Santos for 10 years at least, and I've known he's had a great reputation. But just to be sure, I asked Gary Stevens, Pat Day, what they thought about the photo, and they said they just never lent it any credence from the very beginning. Gary Stevens had the photo blown up himself and could quickly tell that it was just an optical illusion. And Pat Day said that he's known Jose Santos for 20 years, and just the way he handled this whole ordeal speaks wonders about Jose Santos and his reputation, and just what a fine character, what a fine person he is. He just wouldn't do anything like this, Tom.
All right, Donna, ironically, Santos just won the race before the Preakness, which was occurring behind us a moment ago. Well, he, of course, might be the real victim in this whole episode, and earlier today, he talked with Bob Costas.
You've been completely exonerated, but the retraction is never quite as loud or as prominent as the accusation. Do you feel that your reputation has been hurt in the end?
Oh, definitely it's been hurt. until yesterday, I was riding in New York Thursday and came to here to Pimlico to ride some races, and you hear through the crowd the people screaming at you, "Where's the machine? Are you carrying your machine?" And that's not good for any jockey. That's your reputation in the line, and even though I don't show him, but back in my mind, still these people, how they can thinking about that.
What about your children? I understand that they've been taunted at school.
Yeah, definitely. The teacher in the school where they're going in Florida, they was very nice. They told us to take the kids away for a week until this match happened, and it was very funny. My 7-year-old Selena, he was watching the news on Sunday night, and she told Mommy, I cannot sleep. And I say, why? Well, I was watching my daddy on TV all the time. I never thought my daddy was that bad. But and then we explained to the kid what was happening, and everything was clear. And now they're happy over here to cheer on me and the Preakness.
You've said, though, you're not contemplating legal action.
Well, I don't have no comments about that yet.
So it's possible.
But you never know.
One last comment on the race itself. Funny Cide breaks from the 9th post. Outside posts have not generally done well at Pimlico. Are you concerned?
I think the post is pretty good for me. My horse have a good tactical speed, and I think the 3-path is very good right now, and they probably want to be 1 or 2 horses in front of me. If nobody go, believe me, I can be in the lead too.
Good luck today, Jose.
I thank you very much.
Thinking about Jose and the controversy, what about his family? Well, his wife right now is with Kenny Rice, and I think about that picture of young Jose Jr., 8 years old, in ecstasy in the winner's circle at the Derby. What about the damage done to his family? There's Jose with his wife, Rita, his son, Jose Jr., and as I said, Kenny Rice is with his wife, Rita, right now. Kenny?
Thank you, Tom. Jose Jr. has just left us for a moment to join his dad in the winner's circle right now, but with me is Mrs. Jose Santos, Rita Santos, and the children, Nadia, Savannah, and Selena. Rita, a professional athlete's wife, has to learn that there's going to be cheers and there's going to be jeers, but I don't know if anything prepares you for what you had to go through in the last week or so. What's the toll been on you and the kids especially?
Well, I think the children handled it beautifully up until the last day. We kind of kept it from Selena a bit, but she wound up, unfortunately, catching a glimpse of Daddy on TV. But, it gives you, it makes you appreciate your good times, that's for sure.
As far as your, you've heard cheered for his victories and food and second guess when he didn't win. But for yourself, when it gets into a situation like that, did you guys sit down and have any kind of heart-to-hearts about how to get through this all and handle it with the dignity that you did?
Not really. The first day we didn't really think it was going to turn into such a fiasco as it did. When I went to the races with the children to catch the stake race, we decided, at that moment I thought, let me get these kids out of here. On Sunday, we did have a little bit. That's when I could see it was taking its toll on Jose, because we clearly could see that he hadn't done anything wrong. We just were wishing that it would just go away so we could enjoy the Derby. A heart-to-heart, I knew he hadn't done anything wrong, so it was just a matter of getting through it.
All right, Rita, thank you very much for your time. Girls, thank you. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Rita and the family, and again, Jose Jr. wanted me to pass this along to Bob and Mike. He said, Tom, that he always tells his dad a horse to watch for. He's picking Funny. He said, watch for Senior Swinger today, Dad. That was his instructions to Jose Sr. Back to you.
All right, Kenny. And there is Jose on Windsor Castle. He just won the William Donald Schaefer Handicap, the race before the Preakness here at Pimlico. Joined now by Charles C. Canty. And Charles, just to wrap up this whole sorry incident, the big question, I guess, the big picture is, was racing damaged by the whole episode?
Well, of course, Tom. Anytime you attack the integrity of one aspect of the sport, you malign the whole industry, and then the issue becomes public confidence. The pony in the manure of this situation is the fact that the quick action of the Kentucky stewards, the thorough investigation, brought the issue to a quick close. It's just too bad that the media involved didn't take the same steps before going public.
Right. Well, controversy is behind us. We're back to racing. The 128th running of the Preakness Stakes at Pimlico. It'll be the next race on the card. Infield, many of the horses will be saddled for the Preakness over on that turf course, and they'll be leaving from the stakes barn where Before the big stakes races, all the horses are stabled in one barn, although this year there are some exceptions with horses training at other Maryland areas. And as we check the odds, Scrimshaw and Senior Swinger, the entries, 7-2, Cherokee's Boy, local horse, 7-1, Fufa's Warrior, a long shot, Kissin' Saint at 8-1, and 10 Cents a Shine, 6-1, Midway Road is 19, Peace Rules, 3-1, New York Hero, 15-1, and Funny Side, currently the 5-2 betting favorite. And if you would like to join us in picking a winner at the Preakness Stakes, you can log on to NBCSports.com and cast your vote for who you think will win the race and compare the results with Mike and Bob. And Peace Rules now has a slight edge on Funny Side in our Cyber Capper voting, with Scrimshaw coming in third. Well, the more you think back to the victory by Funny Side at Churchill Downs, the more improbable it seems. Right, Bob Newmeyer?
You know, Tom, and it's even more improbable than the fact that he was the first New York-bred and the first gelding since 1929. No, there are more reasons than that. Imagine this, he had not won a race, period, since October of his 2-year-old season. And even the races that he won were against restricted New York-breds. He had not won any race in open company. He had never won over a mile, let alone the 1.25 miles of the Kentucky Derby. And then you get to the connections like Jose Santos, who had never won a Derby. He had 16 years of drought before his first mount in 1987. And then, of course, trainer Barclay Tagg had never even started a Derby winner. His last graded stakes win on dirt at Philly Park some 5.5 years ago. You mix up all those ingredients, you throw them in a salad bowl, and what comes out? A nice, juicy 12 or 13-1 shot. Tom, back to you.
All right, Bob and Charles, I don't know how many people in the 2 weeks since the Derby have said it's such a shame that Funny Side is a gelding.
Well, it is a shame, but he would never have reached his full racing potential if he hadn't been gelded. There are 3 primary reasons that we geld horses, and one of them, in Funny Side's case, he has a problem with his physical development. It was causing him discomfort. In the case of the immortal geldings, John Henry and Forgo, they were just too mean and aggressive to handle. And then sometimes horses are heavy and growthy, and they're not going to stay sound without being gelded. But it's a judgment call in each case. The late great breeder Alfred Vanderbilt, who raced the legendary Native Dancer, he said, if I had gelded every horse I ever owned, I would have only made one mistake.
And one positive thing is he won't be retiring to stud. We'll be able to see him race for many years around America. Well, how many of us have dreamed of owning our own sports franchise? Football or basketball team would seem to be out of reach, but one way to be a pro sports owner is to buy a racehorse. That's the bright idea that occurred to 6 average working guys, friends since high school, from upstate New York.
We were together for our annual Memorial Day get-together, popping a couple of caps back and forth, and some fool said, hey, let's get into thoroughbred horse racing.
6 lifelong friends with one crazy idea: to invest $5,000 of their hard-earned dollars into a horse they could get together and watch on the weekends. 8 years and 8 horses later, these everyday working guys could never have imagined where their new hobby would take them.
The upset here, 12-1 coming down to the line, and the gutsy gelding Funny Side has won the 129th Kentucky Derby.
And the first New York-bred in history has won the Kentucky Derby. The odds were
Monday morning, I'm pulling out of my driveway, and JP's pulling out of his, and we pass each other, and he rolls down his window, and I roll down mine, and I go, so JP, what'd you do this weekend?
He said, and I said, I tried to do some gardening, but we were a little busy.
And I told him I tried to mow my lawn too, but I didn't have quite the time.
And then we went on to work, because that's what we do.
We're just so proud to be here to represent New York and appreciate the reception we've had today.
We met with the governor and had some pictures, and all of that is overwhelming to us.
Congratulations again.
I've signed a couple of autographs. I feel important now. I mean, I've never signed an autograph in my life.
I'm still amazed that someone from a particular paper wants to talk to me. Sports Illustrated wants to talk to J.P. Constance. Lol.
I don't think Sackatoga Harbor will ever be the same again. I think that all of us, have just been blessed with an experience that is incomparable. We can now say that, we owned the horse that won Kentucky Derby 129 in May 3rd, 2003. It sounds wonderful.
And a look at Jose Santos live in the jockey's room, just watching that feature on Funny Cide's owners. And earlier today, the owners arrived here at Pimlico, yes, in a big yellow school bus. 2 weeks ago at the Derby, they wanted to go in a party bus. A big fancy one was too expensive, so they rented a school bus, and they don't want to mess with success, arriving at the clubhouse at Pimlico for the Preakness in a school bus and hoping to take the second jewel in the Triple Crown. Welcome back to Pimlico. That's the stakes barn. Activity picking up there. Soon the horses will begin their walk over to be saddled for the Preakness, and by now the horses know something special is going on, and the jockeys weighing out prior to they hold their tack, and the weight will be okayed, and they will soon join the trainers in the paddock for their final instructions. As we recheck the odds, the entry's 7-2, Cherokee's Boy at 7, Kissin' Saint at 8-1. Remember a couple of years ago, Point Given and Monarchos both were 230-1. Peace Rules and Funny Cide both at 5-2 at the moment. Well, Gary Stevens will be riding in the Preakness today, looking for another Preakness victory aboard Scrimshaw, but his fame is set to take a giant leap later this summer in the movie Seabiscuit, based on Laura Hillenbrand's bestseller. In the movie, Stevens plays jockey George Wolfe. One of the key moments in Seabiscuit's career occurred right here at Pimlico, the celebrated match race with Triple Crown winner War Admiral in 1938.
Everyone in the country stopped what they were doing to listen to this 2-minute race.
As an entire nation crowds its radios, here was the race of the century, the answer to America's first.
There were 150,000 people crammed into this track, all around this one race of 2 horses.
Both horses are jockeyed into position for the walk of start.
People stopped. The country stopped.
And they're off! Neck and neck for the mile.
Had this rich Eastern blue blood horse in War Admiral, invincible, just perfect and gifted.
And it's here that the Admiral makes his bid.
Then you had this knobby neat underdog.
Seabiscuit hangs right on.
He lost more races than he had ever won.
Seabiscuit is going away.
And it was a total rags to riches story.
And action. And away they go.
What we want to do in the movie is put you in the race and show you a side of horse racing no one has ever seen.
Oh yeah, you are going to see some rough riding in some of these races.
People are going to feel that they're actually in the race. They're going to get everything but dirt kicked in their face.
We were actually able to get the camera closer than the camera's ever been to a horse race. We had what's called a technocrane, which is a telescoping crane arm that extends 30 feet out over the car and can get the camera right next to a jockey, next to a racehorse.
When you're going 44 miles an hour with camera booms 8 inches from your face, there's not a lot of room for error.
We used a mechanical horse just to put them in the exact right position. We called it the SSC Biscuit. We were basically this armada flying down the racetrack.
How far do you want me to take him?
Till he stops.
Till he stops.
It's not just about horse racing. It's not just a sports movie. It's about these characters. They come from being way down and become heroes. Red Pollard, the jockey, is played by Tobey Maguire.
Red Pollard was a 15-year-old boy who was abandoned at a racetrack. He was too tall to be a jockey, but it was the only thing he was good at. So he led a life of absolute deprivation. He starved himself in order to make the weight to ride.
Kind of small, isn't he? Gonna look a lot smaller in a second, Georgie.
Charles Howard is played by Jeff Bridges. He's the entrepreneur, the owner of the horse.
This isn't the finish line, my friends. The future's the finish line, and Seabiscuit is just the horse to get us there.
Chris Cooper plays Tom Smith. He was a cowboy who could look at a horse and understand him completely.
Jesus Christ, this horse is nuts.
And he found something special, almost a weird kindred spirit in Seabiscuit.
You don't throw a whole life away just cause it's banged up a little.
This story is so compelling and so heartwarming that it's going to be a huge shot in the arm for racing.
To me, this is like sitting on a Kentucky Derby winner, and all you can do is sit there with a smug smile on your face and wait.
All the jockeys gathered around the television to see Gary Stevens. And all the movie people were high in their praise of Gary and his acting ability, saying seriously, he has a future in movies if he wants to retire from the saddle. He'll be on Scrimshaw in the Preakness. And you know, the book Seabiscuit captured the imagination of the public, and the movie opening in July figures to do the same. In fact, everyone involved in thoroughbred racing and breeding is hoping that the movie will give their sport a giant boost. Well, right now, Funny Cide and Peace Rules are co-favorites. As we take a look, 5-2 on those two. Peace Rules and Funny Cide, 5-2 favorites for the Preakness Stakes. Soon they'll begin their walkover from the stakes barn to be saddled. There's Barclay Tagg. Back at Pimlico Racecourse in Baltimore before the Preakness, that's Barclay Tagg, the trainer of Funny Cide. And there is the horse, Funny Cide, behind him. Barclay's saying to keep him walking. It looks like Barclay might need a little walking. He looks as anxious as the horse. There's Robin Smullen, his assistant, and his girlfriend. They will be coming over with Funny Cide, sharing a light moment there. And of course, Barclay used to be stabled here at Pimlico in Maryland, based in Maryland until a few years ago, and watched the Preakness from various spots around the track, even from the roof of the barn one time. Now he'll saddle the Derby winner in the Preakness. And of course, at the Derby, we were talking all about Bobby Frankel and his quest to win his first Triple Crown race. He had Empire Maker, and he had, of course, Peace Rules. Only Peace Rules today. Kenny Rice is back at the Frankel location.
Thanks, Tom. I think every successful trainer marches a bit to their own drummer. In Bobby Frankel's case, he's a little bit Gene Krupa, Buddy Rich, and Ringo Starr. He's over here in Barn A. That's 4 barns away from the stakes barn and just where he wants to be with his Kentucky Derby third-place finisher, Peace Rules. He galloped Peace Rules on Wednesday at Belmont in New York and then brought him here to Pimlico on Thursday. He's taken him out to the track just one time. That was to just stretch his legs a little bit with the trot. Now, I spoke with him just a little while ago and asked him, was there any concern about not training over this track, getting ready for the race? And he told me, and I quote, if they don't like the track, they're not going to like it no matter how many times they train over it, so sometimes it's best to surprise them. He figures that Peace Rules will get over there and run his kind of race, and he does think he does have the fastest horse in this race. If he runs that kind of race, he feels very comfortable about it. Plus the fact that Peace Rules will be making his 10th career start on his 8th different track, and in all those starts, only one time has he been worse than third. I also asked Bobby about Empire Maker. He said all systems are go. He will see us at the Belmont Stakes with Empire Maker. And had Empire Maker won the Derby, of course, he would be here running in the Preakness today, but Peace Rules would not. Frankel wants to try to keep them separate as much as he can until later on in the season. So Frankel will begin the walkover soon, and he is going to saddle Peace Rules inside in the inside paddock here at Pimlico. If Peace Rules wins today, he'll become the first horse to finish third in the Kentucky Derby and then win the Preakness since Timber Country back in 1995. Tom?
All right, and there's Edgar Prado, Kenny, who will be riding Peace Rules a little later today, the former champion rider in Maryland. He knows his way around this track very well. And Charles, speaking of Bobby Frankel and Empire Maker, were you surprised that he chose not to run him in the Preakness?
Well, no, not actually. After he was beaten in the Kentucky Derby, I think Bobby wanted to take him home, regroup him. Apparently the bruise was not an issue. He came out of the Kentucky Derby in good shape with his feet, but apparently he lightened up a little bit. Bobby wants some time to let him pump back up, and he'll just point him right for the 1.5 mile Belmont Stakes.
He should love the 1.5 mile of the Belmont. Of course, one of the intriguing aspects of this race is the fact that the entry is Bob Baffert and Wayne Lucas. What about our handicappers? What do you think of that, guys?
Well, attention bargain shoppers, 2 for the price of 1. Scrimshaw and Senior Swinger. Baffert and Lucas, this is like the Yankees and the Red Sox playing together. Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson, these guys are rivals, Mike Battaglia, and they're hooking up today.
But it is unbelievable that between them, they've won 7 out of the last 9 runnings of the Preakness and 9 overall. So you're getting 2 heavy hitters with this entry.
And what's interesting here, in a little bit of racing history, that there's precedent for this move involving a very big name horse.
Well, I asked Bob and Wayne, when was the first time that you ran an entry? We had to go back to 1996 in a maiden race at Del Mar. And Lucas had what they thought was the better of the two, Gold Tribute, while Baffert saddled a little gray colt by the name of Silver Charm. And of course, Silver Charm wins that maiden race, goes on to greatness, of course, winning the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness.
Yeah, the Silver Charm. And of course, they also have Pat Day and Stevens going for them. This is a terrific entry, but the fact is, Mike,
can either one of them run?
Getting a lot of action on the board, but they've got to turn 9 or 10 lengths around to compete with the two favorites.
I really do think both of them could run better, but as you said, you're probably getting a lot shorter price because of the Baffert-Lucas connection.
Tom?
All right, guys, and of course, Pat Day will be aboard Senior Swinger. He's won 5 Preakness in the colors of Bob and Beverly Lewis already, that green and yellow from their Oregon days. Gary Stevens just weighing out. Here's Jose Santos. All the horses must carry 126 pounds. They put lead in a saddle pad, a lead pad under the saddle in order to bring them up to that weight. George Chavez weighing out prior to the Preakness Stakes. And right now, Peace Rules and Funny Cide are co-favorites. Ramon Dominguez and Funny Cide is starting the way over. There's Funny Cide. He and Peace Rules both at 5-2, but actually Peace Rules slightly favored in money bet. And Bobby Frankel, of course, his Peace Rules, he's had a runner favored in both the Derby and the Preakness with 2 different horses. That's pretty unusual. And Frankel, Bob Neumeyer's with him right now, Bobby Frankel.
Bobby, most trainers would kill to run 2-3 in the Kentucky Derby, but with all the publicity around Empire Maker, was it a disappointing day for you?
Well, not really. I won some nice races. I was just glad to get through the day without any injuries or anything like that. And they came out of the race well. Of course, obviously, I would have loved to have won it. But as long as the horses came back good, we'll get another day.
All right, what led you to the decision of running Peace Rules here today and leaving Empire Maker in New York for the Belmont?
Well, I think Empire Maker is going to be a better mile and a half horse than Peace Rules. And this race will suit Peace Rules good. And I think give it a little more time than Empire Maker.
All right, if you win today, would you consider running Peace Rules against Empire Maker in the Belmont?
No. I made my mind up, and I still I'll work it out. Empire Maker, I run the Belmont.
There you have it, Bobby Frankel, wheel saddle. Peace Rules still looking for that elusive first Triple Crown win. Let's go to Tom here.
All right, Bob, and there's Funny Cide, the Derby winner. Robin Smullen and the groom bringing him over, coming over to be saddled for the Preakness.
His behavior en route to the paddock was a big issue, and he went to pieces a little bit when he got near the grandstand and all the people. Today, obviously, he's not going to see that many people until he gets almost to the saddling area. He's obviously very calm and relaxed now, but it bears watching as he goes.
They say normally Funny Cide, nothing bothers him, but you're right, going to the Derby, it was kind of a dangerous situation. There's Kissin' Saint beginning his trip over, and Kenny Rice is with Kissin' Saint's trainer, Lisa Lewis.
All right, Tom, Kissin' Saint is the Florida bred. The trainer, Lisa Lewis, is the Maryland bred here. Lisa, congratulations. Your first Triple Crown race, and you're doing it in your hometown. You went to high school about 5 minutes away from here. First time you came to a track was Pimlico. What's this experience been like for you to be back home and be in the Preakness?
Well, I'll tell you in a few minutes how good, if it's good or bad. No, we've had a really great time. The horse has been doing really well, and we're happy to be here. It's fun.
As far as the Wood Memorial, you run third in that race. Kissin' Saint's third behind 2 horses named Empire Maker and Funny Cide. I would imagine, except for the trainers that were actually in Louisville 2 weeks ago, you probably watched the Derby as closely as anybody, didn't you?
Yeah, we were very excited. We thought both horses ran good, and it just, gave the credentials to our horse, and even horses behind him. The horse of Alan Jerkins, Spite the Devil, came back and won the Withers, and so it was a key race.
Well, your mom ran in this race. She trained as well as your dad, and your mom had a Preakness starter 10 years ago, I believe.
Yeah, it was about 10 years ago, and hopefully I can make him proud today.
Okay, good luck to you, Lisa Lewis. Back to you, Tom.
All right, Kenny, and one of the local jockeys that'll be riding today is young Ryan Fogelsonger, not yet 21 years old. He was a spectator at the Preakness a year ago. Now he is riding in the race aboard Cherokee's Boy, the Maryland-owned, trained, and ridden by a young man who was a cross-country star in high school and now based in Maryland, and won an Eclipse Award last year as the top apprentice in the country. Well, Maryland racing and breeding has a long and proud history, the home of Northern Dancer, and before him, Native Dancer, whose name appears in the pedigree of all 16 horses that raced in the Derby this year. Many popular horses have raced on the track in front of these old stands, but few with the charisma of that flashy gray in the early 50s, the subject of our Buick Preakness moment. 50 years ago, after Native Dancer lost the Kentucky Derby by a head to Dark Star, he came to the Preakness ready to avenge that defeat. The Gray Ghost was the perfect shade for black and white television and became a TV star. Owned by Alfred Vanderbilt, Native Dancer did come back in the Preakness and never lost again, winning 21 of 22 career races. As a sire, he stood here in Maryland and is buried 15 miles from Pimlico on Sagamore Farm. Welcome back to Pimlico Racecourse in Baltimore, home of the 128th running of the Preakness Stakes. That's the indoor saddling paddock at Pimlico. Peace Rules number 7 walking by our picture there now. And there's Funny Cide right behind him, the two favorites. And here at the Preakness, you have the option of saddling either indoors or out on the turf course. Scrimshaw and Senior Swinger, the Lucas Baffert entry, 4-1. Cherokee's Boy at 8-1. Fufa's Warrior 20-1. Kissin' Saint is at 9-1. 10 Cents a Shine 7-1. Midway Road 18-1. Peace Rules at 5-2. New York Hero 16. And Funny Cide at 5-2. Last time we checked, a few more dollars had been bet on Peace Rules, making him the actual favorite. And there's a look at Kissin' Saint, and now the jockeys. There's Pat Day in the doorway. Jose Santos right behind him. The jockeys have been ordered to leave the jockeys room. They'll go out to meet with the trainers, some inside and some out on the turf course. On this day of inclement weather, the track's still good. It'll be only the 8th time in 50 years that the Preakness has not been run on a fast track. Jockey's room is just over the finish line, just actually right behind us here at Pimlico. And they walk down the stairs, and as we said, some will go inside, some outside. Pat Day is headed inside, I think, because I think I saw Bob Baffert inside with the Senior Swinger, and we know both Peace Rules and Funny Cide were inside last time we saw. There's a look at Peace Rules number 7, and Funny Cide number 9 right behind him, kind of kicking his hind legs again. And Chelsea, as we mentioned, that was a problem in the walkover and the paddock at Churchill Downs, so we'll keep a close eye on Funny Cide here.
Well, he seems to be behaving quite well. That kicking routine, that's really not a problem. Almost all horses will do that as the girth is tightened. It's just a little resentment at the tightness of the girth.
I've known to do that myself when I tighten the girth. Let's go to the handicappers now. Bob and Mike.
Well, this race over the years, Mike, has been very kind to horses that A, have run in the Kentucky Derby, right, and B, are favorites, which is right up your alley.
I knew that was coming. Contrary to the Kentucky Derby, where favorites have won 1 out of the last 24 runnings, in the last 24 runnings of the Preakness, we've had 8 favorites win. Now, I don't know who's going to be the favorite today. It's very close. Peace Rules and Funny Cide. Right now, they're about co-favorites. It was tough for me to separate the two. I went for Peace Rules strictly because of the post position. He gets post 7, Funny Cide gets 9. When it's that close that I can separate them by post positions, these two horses look dead even to me, but I think that Peace Rules will probably get a good trip. He beat Funny Cide in the Louisiana Derby. Of course, Funny Cide came back and scored the upset win in the Kentucky Derby, but here is Peace Rules in the Louisiana Derby. You see Funny Cide down along the rail. He's the horse that actually came back again and ran third. He ran a pretty courageous race, but Peace Rules just drew off. I was impressed with the way he won this race. He followed it up with the win in the Bluegrass, and his run in the Derby, he pressed the pace the entire way. I'm giving him a slight edge, Bob.
Well, what frightens me is that we think alike today, and Funny Cide is my selection today. Listen, they've each won 1 race. Funny Cide got the measure of Peace Rules in the Kentucky Derby, as you mentioned. It was the reverse in the Louisiana Derby. I can't separate them, so I've got an idea, Mike. My $12 of fun, and that is $2 exactas. $12. Both favorites.
You're easily amused, Bob.
Here's the gamble.
$12.
Here's the gamble.
Fun.
Here's the gamble. The favorites don't run 1-2. That's the payoff.
Okay.
So you get.
So who you taking on
you
bottom?
get Funny Cide over the likes of 10 Cents a Shine,
all right,
over Midway Road, over Kissin' Saint. Okay. Then you do with the other favorite. It costs $12, and you hope for about a $40 or $50 payoff. It's 4 or 5 to 1 in your money. That's my $12 of fun for today's Preakness Stakes.
Go out and buy a couple drinks. There's my $12 of fun.
Back to you, Tom.
All right, guys. Not straying too far, though, I see, from Peace Rules and Funny Side on the win end of their wagers. Saw senior swinger there for a moment, Pat Day, who has won 5 of these Preakness races. Jose Santos, the Funny Side jockeys. Jose is 0 for 2 in the Preakness. And a look at the 4-horse, which is Kissin' Saint.
Lisa Lewis had said this is a very strong colt. He's a good colt to saddle, but he's very strong and he just walks right over you. She had debated whether to saddle him inside or out, but she seems to be getting the tack on him just fine outside.
Well, Bob picks Funny Side, and the Cyber Cappers agree with him. Mike likes Peace Rules, and he's the second choice in the Cyber Cappers. You can log on to NBCSports.com and make your selections. And let's go down to Kenny Rice with the Funny Side people.
All right, thanks, Tom. Barclay Tagg's been giving instructions to Jose Santos. And Barclay, he's still giving anything particular you're saying here?
Yeah, I was talking in Spanish about last night's dinner, you know, and stuff like that.
Was it a good dinner?
It was great, yeah, super.
He looked good. He was kicking his heels up over here in the inside paddock. Do you get a good feel for him today?
Yeah, he's feeling well. He's doing well. Couldn't be any better. I'm perfectly happy with him.
Is there any particular scenario you want to see shape up? I know you want to be back in this winter circle again.
Yeah, that's where I want to be, too.
Anything else? Any kind of pace scenario? Anything you're worried about?
That's all up to Jose.
Well, you got a good guy there to leave it in the hands of.
That's right.
All right. Good luck to you, Jose. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Kenny.
All right, Jack Nolta, one of the many guys who brought the bus here. This is a big moment for you guys, I know. Is it the same excitement as getting ready for the Derby now, knowing you're getting closer?
Oh, absolutely. I think this one's a little tougher, though, because there's a lot higher expectations here. Now that we've won the Derby, we really want to win this one and get back to New York, to Belmont, with a shot at the Triple Crown.
You win this one, that bus is going to have to get really big.
Well, we've got another one.
All right, good luck. All the Funny Side folks hoping to keep that bus ride going on to Belmont. Back to you, Tom.
All right, Kenny. Peace Rules and Funny Side are co-favorites at 5-2, although Peace Rules just slightly more money bet on him. It'll be the 6th time since 1994 the Derby winner not favored in the Preakness, if that stands up. A look at Cherokee's
Riders
boy.
up.
And the command, Riders up. Barclay Tagg and Jose Santos. There's Bob Baffert. Senior Swinger is his horse, and there's Funny Side. Funny Side in post position 9, and in distance races at Pimlico, the outside is pretty tough.
Funny Side is a very big, good-looking, strong colt, or gelding, I should say, and has really held his weight well and trained well and had a tremendous workout up at Belmont Park the other day. So he has not lost anything since the Kentucky Derby.
It was 1909 when Maryland, My Maryland was first played impromptu at the Preakness, the same year the winning owner's colors were painted on the weather vane at the old clubhouse. And the call to the post heralds the arrival of the Preakness field.
Ladies and gentlemen, now assembled in the infield winner's circle is Mr. Monty Maxwell, leading the U.S. Naval Academy Men's Glee Club in singing Maryland, My Maryland.
Thou wilt not tower in the dust, Maryland, my Maryland, thy gleaming sword shall never rust. Maryland, my Maryland, remember Carroll's sacred trust, remember Howard's warlike thrust, and all has come the
Rita Santos, the wife of Jose Santos, watching as the horses enter the track. You saw Bob Baffert there for a moment. And here are the horses for the 128th running of the Preakness Stakes. Scrimshaw, half of the entry. Bob and Beverly Lewis owned. Gary Stevens replaces Cornelia Velasquez aboard Scrimshaw, who was 11th in the Derby, but only his first race since April. He may have needed that race. Wayne Lucas looks for better things today. 1A is Senior Swinger. Only 2 Preakness winners in the last 20 years did not run in the Kentucky Derby. Senior Swinger ran the day before the Derby, Oaks Day, on the turf, winning the Crown Royal American Turf Race by 2.5 lengths under Pat Day. He was beaten in the Wood Memorial and Florida Derby on the dirt before that. Pat Day aboard, and Bob Baffert is the trainer. The 2 horses, Cherokee's Boy, locally owned. Maryland-bred, trained by Gary Capuano, a local trainer, and Ryan Fogelsonger is in the saddle for his first Preakness ride. Cherokee's Boy is actually in post position 1 because of the entry. Post positions don't correspond to the saddlecloth numbers. Cherokee's Boy, speed on the rail, always dangerous at Pimlico. 3-horse Fufa's Warrior, another Maryland-bred. Last race on the turf against Senior Swinger, was 3rd at Churchill Downs. Ramon Dominguez rides him for the first time. He's only raced 5 times prior to today. 4 is Kissin' Saint. He also only has 5 lifetime starts coming in. His first race away from Aqueduct, claimed in January for $50,000. 3rd behind Empire Maker and Funny Side in the Wood Memorial. Lisa Lewis is the trainer. Richard Migliori in the saddle. 10 Cents to Shine is the 5-horse. Picks up Jerry Bailey as the jockey. He's been 8th, though, in his last 3 races, including the Kentucky Derby. Wayne Lucas, the trainer, has won the Preakness 5 different times. The 6 horses, Midway Road, looking for his first stakes win. His last race in April at Keeneland, an allowance race, he won it by nearly 12 lengths. Owned by Will Farish, the U.S. ambassador to Great Britain, who won the Preakness in '72 with BBB. And Neil Howard, the trainer, who won the only other Preakness he entered in was Summer Squall. Peace Rules is the 7, Bobby Frankel's horse. Edgar Prado won 14 riding titles here at Pimlico, but he's 0 for 6 in the Preakness. Peace Rules 3rd in the Kentucky Derby. The 8-horse New York Hero, named for the heroes of 9/11, but he's a Maryland-bred. Trainer Jennifer Peterson, the first female trainer with 2 Preakness starters. She had Griffinite run 5th here in 2001, beaten in the Withers and Wood Memorial after winning the Lane's End at Turfway. And the 9-horse is Funny Side. If you're wondering about his off-track form, remember, in the Wood Memorial it was run on a muddy track, so the off-track, rated good at the moment, shouldn't bother him today. First Preakness for Barclay Tagg, the Sackatoga Stable, Jose Santos in the saddle. And watching the post parade from their spot here in the grandstand at Pimlico, Rita Santos and their children, including 8-year-old Jose Jr., who celebrated so mightily in the winner's circle at Churchill Downs. Bobby Frankel still looking for that elusive first Triple Crown victory. And will he get it with Peace Rules? We'll see. Empire Maker was thought to be the better of the 2. He's in the barn. And Peace Rules is here as the favorite at the Preakness. And perhaps a little divine intervention called for by Rita Santos. We'll be back.
Peace Rules to his inside. Empire Maker is giving it all. Funny Side trying to pull off the upset here. 12-1 coming down to the line. And the gutsy gelding Funny Side has won the 129th Kentucky Derby. With jockey Jose Santos.
It's been a crazy 2 weeks for jockey Jose Santos.
Breaking news out of Churchill Downs.
They are examining a picture of the race.
The suspicious object in jockey Jose Santos's hand.
Nothing in his right hand in the Derby's final yards other than his whip.
With the events of the past week now behind him, Jose Santos looks to take another step toward history aboard Kentucky Derby winner Funny Side. It's a moment no one could have foreseen for trainer Barclay Tagg. And today at Pimlico, he'll confront a challenge from some of the sport's heavyweights, while trying to keep the dream alive for 6 small-town guys. And just moments ago, an emotional moment for Jose Jr., being comforted by his mom. Jackson Knowlton and Barclay Tagg, the Funny Side connections. Funny Side now actually is the favorite. More money bet on him than Peace Rules, even though they're both 5-2. And there's Funny Side out on the track. As we said at the Derby, he was a bit worked up. You check the odds, 2-1 now, both Peace Rules and Funny Cide, although more money bet on the Derby winner. And Barclay Tagg, the trainer of Funny Cide, and there's his chief rival, Bobby Frankel, who is the trainer of Peace Rules. Well, Donna Barton Brothers is on horseback out on the track right now. First of all, track condition, Donna. How's the track seem to be playing? And second of all, how are the horses acting?
Well, the conditions of the track are super. I know that they call it good. I don't know if it's been upgraded to fast because I haven't been able to hear much of the program. But the track looks good. It's in really good shape. It's got a real firm bottom to it. Some moisture in it, but I don't think it's enough to cause anybody any problems. I think it's a fair playing field again, Tom. Back to you.
All right, Donna. As you might imagine, with all the dampness and rain and bad conditions, some of our microphones have been coming in and out, and some of our equipment is struggling through the weather, as are we. There's Lisa Lewis, the trainer of Kissin' Saint. Wouldn't it be something for her homecoming? She was born in Baltimore, the 11th woman to saddle a Preakness starter. None have won, but based in New York. She comes down, and her mom and dad are Maryland, and both trainers. It would be something.
And it was her astute observation that led to the claim of Kissin' Saint out of his second start for only $50,000. He wound up third in the Wood Memorial, and many think he's got a legitimate chance to close from off the pace day to pick up a good piece of this Preakness Stakes. Pretty sharp eyes.
Richard Migliori, based in New York. Road Magic Wisner to a second place finish as a long shot of the Preakness last year. Rita Santos, Jose Jr. The Funny Cide crew, Barclay Tagg studying the form and looking at the program there, and it has to be an anxious moment for him.
And Funny Cide, of course, we mentioned the problems he had going to the paddock and in the paddock at the Kentucky Derby. Barclay spent several days in New York schooling him in the paddock. Obviously, it's paid off. It looks to me like Funny Cide is being an absolute gentleman today.
Barclay told everyone he was going to ship to Pimlico the morning of the race. That would be this morning, but he sort of crossed everyone up, slipped in almost unnoticed yesterday afternoon. And now the horses have reached the starting gate for the Preakness. It is 1 mile and 3/16, just a 16th shorter than the Kentucky Derby, which was run 2 weeks ago. Visa has a $5 million bonus for a Triple Crown winner. There hasn't been a Triple Crown winner since Affirmed 25 years ago, and Funny Cide is hoping to take this second leg.
And here's Cherokee's boy. He's going to break from the inside. He's won 50% of his starts. He's a hard-hitting local Maryland horse, and he will be on the lead. And there's Fufa's Warrior. This is another local horse who's been very consistent. He'll coming from off the pace, but we got to watch how he breaks. He can be a little slow away from the gate.
That's Kissin' Saint into the gate. And 10 Cents to Shine will be in next. Finished 8th in the Kentucky Derby at 37-1, but getting some play today at the mutual windows. Not wanting to go in right now. He's 8-1.
He ran the fastest final half mile in the Kentucky Derby by some accounts. He was far back and closed some ground. He's got talent that he's never really shown. Wayne Lucas has said he had to get inside his head and show him some tough love. He's showing them some tough trouble at the gate. Gets halfway in and wants to run backwards out.
Well, Ken Ramsey made the call to put Jerry Bailey up instead of Pat Valenzuela, who'd been named earlier in the week. At the last minute, Bailey became available, and they signed him up for 10 Cents a Shine. He's trying to prop his front legs, but they finally propel him into the gate. All the late money seems to be coming in on Funny Cide. He's now the 9-5 favorite with Peace Rules at 2-1. There is Peace Rules. Jose Santos Jr. awaiting the start of the race as we go upstairs for the call. Here's Tom Durkin.
And there's Bobby Frankel, and there is New York Hero. And breaking right next to him will be another New York Hero, Funny Cide, the New York-bred winner of the Kentucky Derby. A lot of action coming from those outside post positions. Peace Rules, of course, and Funny Cide to the favorites here. And right there in between them will be breaking New York Hero, who's a pretty speedy horse out of the gate. In the gate. Final horse moving in. Senior Swinger on the outside with Pat Day aboard. Ready for the start of the 128th Preakness, and they're off. and Funnyside brush with New York Hero coming out of the gate. Down toward the inside, Scrimshaw's there. Peace Rules broke alertly, and Peace Rules remains in the middle of the track as they move by us for the first time. And Peace Rules will be the early leader. And a very eager Funnyside is outside to his inside. It's Scrimshaw as they race for the first turn here at Pimlico. And Cherokee's Boy pulls his way up into fourth position just inside the Derby winner. Then farther back, Kissin' Saint is now fifth on the inside. New York Hero racing sixth. And then it's Midway Road who's back in seventh. 10 Cents a Shine and Fufa's Warrior are racing eighth and ninth, and those two about 8 or 9 lengths from the lead, and a break of another 5 to the stretch running Senior Swinger as the field races into the backstretch. Peace Rules Funnyside 1-2. The opening quarter was 23 and 1/5 seconds, a legitimate half mile of 47 flat. So it is Peace Rules. Edgar Prado rationing out his speed, tracked purposefully by the Derby winner Funnyside. Midway Road makes a move as they approach the far turn, and he's now third, coming through on the inside. Scrimshaw back to fourth. Cherokee's Boy fifth on the outside with the half mile remaining. Then farther back, it's Fufa's Warrior getting in gear on the outside of New York Hero. Then a break of another 3 back to 10 Cents a Shine. Senior Swinger is launching his bid with 3 furlongs to go. And Funnyside now to the throat latch of Peace Rules. And the race is on as they approach the top of the stretch here at Pimlico. The field turns for home, and Funnyside comes roaring off the turn with the lead. Funnyside has repelled Peace Rules, and it's Scrimshaw on the outside, and he's now running in third. Midway Road is fourth toward the inside. They're in the final furlong now. Funnyside and Jose Santos turning the Preakness into a runaway. A huge effort here. It is Funnyside, and he's heading home. Back to Belmont. He's won the Preakness by almost 10 lengths. Back to Belmont for a date with Triple Crown Destiny. Midway Road got up to be second, and it was close for third there. What a tremendous effort. The final time over the good track here was 1:55 and 3. They came into the stretch. Funnyside just pulled away from Peace Rules like he was standing still, and he won by a huge margin, and he won with something left. We haven't had a Triple Crown winner in 25 years. We'll have to wait at least 3 weeks more.
The dream continues for the Funnyside crew. Funnyside will be the first gelding to go for the Triple Crown in 3 weeks, and where else? New York, Belmont Park. The New York-bred gelding Funnyside with a dominant performance in the Preakness. Sweet redemption for Jose Santos and his family. Let's see if Donna's microphone is working so you can talk to Jose.
Hello.
Well, we still might not be able to get Donna. Let's see. Donna, can you hear us? Okay, Donna's microphone's still not working. We're sorry. But we can imagine the elation of Jose Santos after all the controversy. You saw how eager Funnyside was to go early. Santos was saying to him, just wait, just wait. When he finally let him go, wow, did he ever accelerate and turn the race into a runaway.
When a race like this, when 2 horses are so closely matched in style and they were so closely matched in favoritism, it almost becomes a match race. And Jose Santos and Edgar Prado had to play cat and mouse with each other. But as they came to the stretch, Jose Santos let Funnyside have his way, and off he went. There's nothing more to say. He turns it into just a parade through the stretch.
Well, a lot of people picked him to win. I don't think anyone expected this absolute runaway. And the family, oh, how sweet it must be. We saw Jose Jr. in tears. The emotion too much. And what about the owners? Sackatoga Stable.
Yes!
Booked that school bus for Belmont. And Jose Santos There's nothing in his hand. Look at it. Wow. The emotions spilling over here at Pimlico today. The first Preakness win for Barclay Tagg, for Jose Santos. The 5th Derby winner in the past 7 years to go on to win the Preakness. And for the 9th time since a firm's magical run 25 years ago, we will head to Belmont with a Triple Crown possibility. The race is now official, and it's all Funny Cide. Here are the payoffs for Funny Cide's Preakness victory. 584.63.40. Midway Road ran a big race, although he was a long way back in second. 15.40 and $9. Scrimshaw paid $4. The exacta $120.60. You see the trifecta and superfecta payoffs. The 66th favorite to win the Preakness Stakes. It's Funny Cide that takes the money in the Preakness. Jose Santos, how can a smile be any bigger? There's Funny Cide being paraded after his resounding victory in the Preakness. Don't have the official margin yet, but the largest Preakness victory ever was in the very first one by Survivor by 10 lengths. It stood all these years, and now in the 128th running, perhaps Funny Cide will officially be the winner by the largest margin in Preakness victory. He's the 3rd New York-bred to win the Preakness, but the last one was in 1896. He'll be the first New York-bred, the first gelding to try for the Triple Crown. And can you imagine the scene at Belmont Park in 3 weeks as he goes in New York for the Triple Crown? A dejected Bobby Frankel still unable to win a Triple Crown race. Peace Rules, as expected, was the early pace setter, and then Funny Cide absolutely booed by him, and Peace Rules tired. Let's go down to Mike Battaglia, who's with the jockey who rode Peace Rules, Edgar Prado.
Thanks, Tom. And Edgar, your horse broke like a bullet. Went right to the front. You got the jump on Funny Cide out of the gate. Was that the plan?
Well, Bobby says he's let on the horse do his own thing in the first part of the race. My horse is run out of the gate sharply. I tried to slow him down as I could, but the horse inside didn't help me at all, you know. Put a little pressure on the first turn. And I tried to get him relaxed as I could, but I know I was in little trouble when I saw Funny Cide in the half mile ball, and he was just galloping next to me.
And when they hit the far turn, you're still in front. Look at Funny Cide coming up outside of you. Did you know you were in trouble?
Yes, I know. It was my horse a fighter, you know, he gave me 150% every time. And he was trying real hard, but I know Funny Cide was tough to beat at that point.
At this point right here, when Funny Cide went by you, did Jose say anything?
No, nothing. No, he was very concentrated in his own business.
And when he drew off, I mean, that was just such an impressive performance. Your horse gave it his all. He ran his race. What did Bobby Frankel say afterwards?
Well, he was a little disappointed that the horse don't finish, no, in the first 3. But he realized that the horse was real sharp going to the first turn. And that was it. We leave it to fight another day.
Fight another day. That's all you can do when a horse wins as impressively as Funny Cide did today in the Preakness, Tom.
Well, Jose Jr. with another celebration, and you know, Rita's been almost overcome with tears since the race. The 10 owners of Funny Cide, including the original 6 high school buddies that formed their stable with $5,000 apiece back in 1995, making their way to the Pimlico Winner's Circle. And a $5 million bonus now is on the line. Some of these guys might be quitting their jobs back home in upstate New York. They are on a magical ride that still is not over. Here's the complete order of finish. Barclay Tagg trained Funny Cide with Midway Road. His best effort. He's really developing into something. Might see him back in the Belmont. Scrimshaw, Peace Rules, Senior Swinger, New York Hero, Fufa's Warrior, Cherokee's Boy, 10 Cents a Shine, and Kissin' Saint. Joined now by Tom Durkin, who called the race. And Tom, did you expect anywhere in your wildest dreams such a resounding performance by Funny Cide?
I thought he and Peace Rules were 2 very equally talented individuals, but this was an absolute blowout. And what a scene we're going to have at Belmont Park 3 weeks from today. We had 103,000 there, a record crowd for the last Triple Crown attempt last year, but we're going to have the rafters jammed at Belmont 3 weeks from today.
And what makes this such a great story is that he's every man's horse. The high school buddies invested $5,000 initially back in 1995 buying their first horse. They have a 3-horse stable that includes right now the best 3-year-old in America.
And I tell you, if they win the Triple Crown, they can buy a fleet full of those yellow school buses.
Those are Viking daisies with black lacquer in the center to simulate black-eyed Susans, the official flower of the state of Maryland.
We're going for the Triple Crown this time. Thanks for coming down. It's going to be great. It's awesome, awesome.
You know, the party might not stop. It'll just go on for 3 weeks. All right, let's take a look at the replay of the race now as Jose Santos brought Funny Cide out of the 9 stall in the starting gate, which was the next to outside stall.
He appeared to brush right here with New York Hero. So they brushed just a little bit, but that really turns out to be of very little significance. Santos has got his eye on Peace Rules, who's right there with the red and blue sleeved silks. He does allow him to get to the early lead, and this is exactly what he wanted to do. It's exactly the trip he had in Kentucky Derby.
It looked
one length
like
behind.
Derby, doesn't it?
And he hooks up, the Peace Rules does, with Scrimshaw there on the inside, and they go head-to-head. This is exactly what happened in the Derby.
I had the feeling here that Santos had so much horse that Funny Cide was wanting to go, and Funny Cide just starts picking up these other horses in front of him on his own. Santos is doing all he can to restrain him, but he says at this point, I'm just going to let him go on his own.
Look at Jose Santos's feet, if you can. They're what we call in the dashboard. He still has this horse on reserve. And look at Funny Cide's ears. They're just pricking up back and forth. He's loving it out there, tracking this Peace Rules pacemaker very intently.
We know that he raced on the muddy track at Aqueduct and the Wood Memorial, so we knew the track rated good here would be to his liking, and it just looks like he's having fun. Midway Road made a big move up the rail right here to challenge him. What did you think at this point?
Well, I didn't know. I knew that Santos at this point was not really asking. Then at one point, I think I said on the far turn, the race is on. Well, once the race was on, it lasted for about 5 strides.
It wasn't much race because Santos, when he finally lets Funny Cide say, okay, let's go, now's time to do your work, he draws alongside Peace Rules. Prado hits Peace Rules left-handed there, but he's got nothing left in the tank. And Funny Cide, with Santos just tapping him, now cocking his whip, gives him a tap right-handed to keep him about his business. And right here, he just sprints away from the rest of them.
And I'm interested to see, I really wasn't looking for it, but I wonder how much he saved him for the end, because he has a big race coming up 3 weeks. Let's see how he finishes out. Goes left-handed stick, just kept his mind to his business, changes his leads there once again. Yeah. But under the line, a big win, a quarter of a length short of the Preakness margin record.
So the official blanket aboard Funny Cide, who heads back to the barn for a warm bath, and the Woodlawn Vase, the most expensive trophy in American sports. The owners will get a replica, and Jose Santos gets a handshake and a hat and maybe a shot at a $5 million bonus. We'll be back to Pimlico in just a moment. That's the scene in the winner's circle after Funny Cide wins the Preakness by 9 3/4 lengths, just a quarter length away from the all-time record margin of victory. Let's go down to Bob Costas in the winner's circle.
All right, Tom, among those gathered here, Joe DeFrancis from the Maryland Jockey Club, Tim Smith representing the NTRA, Jack Knowlton, one of the owners, Robert Ehrlich, the governor of Maryland, Frank Stronach, the chairman of the board of Magna Entertainment, and as always, Carl Pascarella, the president and CEO of Visa USA. And now, for the 5th time since 1997, a horse has won the first 2 legs of the Triple Crown, and there's a $5 million bonus waiting for the first horse to win it. Since affirmed in 1978, Funny Cide will have his chance at the Belmont.
Well, Bob, we're so pleased at Visa to be part of this. Thoroughbred racing is wonderful. I can't think of anything that's better for the country right now than to have somebody being able to run for the Triple Crown and have Visa present the $5 million. And to have it happen in New York with a New York-bred, that is drama personified. So we can't wait to be a part of that in 3 weeks.
We're all looking forward to the Belmont, but meanwhile, there's a ceremony to be concluded here to make it official. Funny Cide, the winner of the Preakness. Frank, the honors are yours.
Well, welcome to the Funny Side of Maryland. I'd like to congratulate the winning owner, trainer, jockey, and the winning horse to a great race. Further, I'd like to thank Visa and its president, the chief executive officer, Carl Pascarella, for being so supportive for the Triple Crown races. I also like to state I'm extremely proud to participate in this historic track and to interface with the Preakness, which is, I believe, one of the greatest sporting events in America. I also would like I also would like to assure Marylanders that MEC is committed to uphold this great tradition of the Preakness here in Baltimore. And to all you racing fans, you're the greatest racing fan. Who will be out here? I'll promise you we will restore Laurel and Pimlico racetrack to one of the greatest racetracks in the world.
Now to the introduction of the governor.
I have one more thing. The horse industry is very important to the economy of Maryland. Nobody knows it better than the governor. And I'd like the governor of Maryland. And I'd like the governor for his great leadership and his great support for the horse industry. And welcome now. It gives me great pleasure to introduce you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Governor Early.
We love the Preakness. We love horse racing in this state. Thank you for that wonderful commitment to this wonderful place, this historic place. I have somebody pretty excited beside me, though. Jack, congratulations. On behalf of the Ehrlich administration, horse fans everywhere, what a great day for racing, not only for Maryland racing, but for racing around the world. Congratulations.
Hey, Governor.
Governor Ehrlich, I believe the presentation of the trophy is your honor to Jack Knowlton.
Can we hear a little applause here? Everyone is so excited. We are so proud of you. I don't know how you're going to live these next 2 weeks. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Governor. This is just an incredible trip for Sackatoga Stable and Funny Cide, Barclay, Tagg, Robin Smullen, just our whole cast. We brought over 120 people to join us today for the Preakness. Someplace we never thought we'd be. We never thought we'd be at the Derby. When we won the Derby, we said, well, let's come down here because we really wanted to go back to New York, our home state, with a shot to win the Triple Crown. And we want Belmont to be the best race ever and the biggest crowd. We're just tremendously excited.
It's been a wild ride in the 2 weeks between the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness. Your emotions?
Well, it's been just a tremendous ride, except for a couple days. We hit that bump in the road. Fortunately, it was handled expeditiously in Kentucky, and we got that over with. Barclay was steadfast all the way, stayed with his plan. We didn't even know when the horse was going to ship down here. He snuck him in, and it's just a tremendous story for us. I think Funny Cide today dispelled a lot of the critics who questioned, well, he got the perfect trip down in the Kentucky Derby. Maybe that's why he won. Today, Jose rode just a fabulous race. Funny Cide showed the world that he is a real racehorse. He's undefeated at Belmont, and we're really looking at the opportunity to go up there and take a shot at the third leg of the Triple Crown.
If Carl Pasquarella and Visa have to shell out the $5 million, will you guys quit your jobs?
I don't think so, but one of his vice presidents told me at the party last night that they really would like to give away that $5 million, and we really would like to get it.
This is one of your co-owners, though, over here, right? This gentleman here. At the very least, sir. I have not met you, but please step forward. You are.
I'm Augustino Guglielmetti.
Yes. Now, if you should win some portion of the $5 million, is there any chance that a fashion consultant would be brought on board?
I probably will. I bet I could sell this sucker for about $1,000.
It'll be on eBay in moments. Let's go over to Charles C. Canty.
Well, it's been an emotional roller coaster for the last 2 weeks for winning jockey Jose Santos, winning trainer Barclay Tagg, but obviously it did not distract any of you from a perfectly executed plan. Congratulations on a great job. Barclay, this colt came within 1/4 of a length of the largest Preakness winning margin. What have you done with him since the Derby to get him to this point?
Prayed. No, he's just done everything right. It's been a really smooth last 5 weeks. Everything's gone perfectly, step by step. We just do the same things we always do, and he's just accepted it well. And Robin's done a super job with him. It's just everything's going well.
Assistant trainer Robin Smullen, a great ride by Jose Santos once again. We're not going to call this vindication today because you didn't do anything wrong.
That's right.
But congratulations. How sweet is this?
Thank you. This first of all, I want to thank to the people that came to the races today.
to support Funny Side, and thank to Barclay, wonderful job he did. And also I want to tell to everybody, the only machine and I have in me is the red horse and I was riding today.
A big red horse you were riding. It was all you needed. A powerful, powerful move forward from the Kentucky Derby. And we're going to watch the replay of the race as he made his move to Peace Rules. But this horse was authoritative. I mean, this was a lights-out performance. You just run a lot of horse all the way.
Well, Barclay told me to try to save some ground in the first turn, and we did. I get right in behind of Peace Rule, and then from the 5/8 was just give it some loose rein, and he was just loping along, and then I got busy on him all the way in the stretch. In case something moved the camera or whatever, or some horse coming from the outside. I don't want to get surprised, but this horse is a wonderful horse, and New York, here we come. It's a New York-bred. Get with the program, and we'll be there in 3 weeks.
Barclay, there's been some questions about the distance ability of this colt. 1.25 miles. The Derby was no problem, obviously not today. What about the 1.5 miles at the Belmont Stakes? How will you train him between now and then?
Well, I never had anything but faith in this horse going a distance. I never thought he'd have any distance problems. Just from his demeanor, his build, the way he's trained, I never questioned it, but I questioned, a lot of people questioned it, which made me a little tentative about bragging about it, but I never had any question about it. I want to say one thing about Jose Santos. He's a world-class rider, a world-class human being, and those photographers and the people down there in Miami are nuts.
One thing's for sure, nobody in this camp has made a mistake with this horse yet. And what I got to ask you now, these are some of the owners back here behind you. If you win the Triple Crown and you win the bonus, who's going to quit their jobs?
No one. No one will quit their jobs. No.
A pretty happy group down here, Tom Hammond. It's on to New York now and the Triple Crown.
All right, Charlesy, and the ceremonial painting of the owner's silks, Funny Side silks, going atop the weather vane, which on the replica of the old clubhouse here at Pimlico, Lawrence Jones painting the Funny Side colors of maroon and silver on the weather vane. Funny Side will go for the Triple Crown, the first New York bred, the first gelding to go for the Triple Crown at Belmont Park in 3 weeks. So don't forget to mark your calendars. Saturday, June 7th, NBC will bring you the final leg of the Visa Triple Crown, the Belmont Stakes. The gloom of the weather at Pimlico dispelled by the glow of Funny Side's resounding victory in the Preakness. Especially sweet for jockey Jose Santos and his family. Tom Hammond for our entire crew here at NBC saying so long from the Preakness Stakes at Pimlico in Baltimore.